is Shay. Thank you all for commenting and subscribing our previous videos. Mwah, mwah. So today we'll be speaking about personal development. So to get us started, I will be asking Alice this question. So the first question we'll talk about growth. So what does growth mean to you?
Growth to me means it's something that is gradual, but it's like development, but it's in steps. Yeah, and towards greater things and better things. It can be like emotional, it can be in career, it can be, it can be many things.
Nice, thank you.
Growth is just making sure you're not where you were yesterday. It's difficult, sometimes it's tiring, you don't even want to get out of bed, but you want an improvement. You want to stop doing the things you were doing, and I think it's a very personal journey. So it all depends on, I might not like consciously want to grow in, let's say, finances. It's not like I'm that rich, I'm just giving an example, but I want to grow in my academics, right? I want to do better, so I'm consciously putting in effort to get results that I wasn't getting before, and of course these results have to be positive, they have to be better than what I was doing yesterday. That's the simplest thing as growth. In fact, we grow every day, don't we? Like biologically speaking, physically speaking, I mean.
Yeah, but then I think personal development and growth in that sense, I think it's intentional. It's an intentional attempt to better yourself over a period. So it's intentional one, it's over a period too, and number 3 is measurable. So it has to be, this was where I was yesterday, and this is where I am right now. I was blind, now I see. So yeah, I think that's about it.
I think another thing I would like to point out is sometimes growth or development is not comfortable. You just have to like get out of yourself and push yourself.
Growth is essential. It's a necessity for you as human, because everything around you is growing, and you have to grow. It's like a plant, you're a seed, and then growth is like you have to water it. There's some things you have to do to doing the basic things or the necessary things to see that there is going to be a fruit. And for a growth is why growth is important is because there is always a reward for growth, and I think that's the push. So for some people it's easy, for some people it's not easy. Like in some aspects you just need to be like, well, I'm going to do this, and there you are, you do it. And sometimes it's not easy, you have to like push yourself or somebody pushes you. But the thing about growth is that there is always a reward like coming from that, which goes to personal development. But it's also like, it's not like you're bringing something different, it's a seed that you have in you already that you're working on to produce fruit.
Thank you very much, that was beautiful. Yeah, so moving on, we're talking about personal development and growth, but from the point of view of how intentional you are towards it. And some people have different classifications of growth. Some people have 3 levels, 5 levels, some people have 7, some people have 15. So I'll start with Steffi. So how is growth for you? Is it intentional, and do you have like classifications of them? Do you have like 7, 20, 50? Let us know.
As in personal growth, development, right? Well, I think it's something that actually comes natural for me, like growth. Like Mide has mentioned, like there are circumstances, because around you like things are changing, so like obviously you also need to like grow, you need to change. So I guess in my case there are like several levels to growth, because as you guys know, I'm the baby of the family. I like to use that word. I'm the baby of the family. So for me, growth has been something that has come like in different levels. I feel like maybe I've been not late in growth, but like a little bit not really pushing myself into growing, because I've always been comfortable like with my family and everything. But with like the circumstances around me changing, I feel like right now my levels of growth has really accelerated. And even if I may have like, I don't know, 7, 10 levels of growth, these few ones here have been very fast, very quick, and I feel like yeah, compared to other people, compared to my sibling, my sister, my growth level is completely different from her because she's a little bit more independent. She is the oldest. So mine has been totally different, but I feel that at some point I will get there. I will get to the level that she is, but it's gonna take more time for me because of like I'm the last child and everything, so I'm at a different level than her.
Okay, so thank you. I was going to follow up with what are the like classifications of your goals and like personal development? Do you have like, for some people they have like finances, spiritual? Just give an example. Do you have that, or you just take it as it comes?
Yeah, actually I do. I started with being independent, so that was my first thing. So being independent, and then anyway, actually I think maybe my spiritual life would have been best at the start because obviously it's the foundation of everything. But for some reason I started with being independent. Maybe that's why I didn't really, I mean I am independent to some extent, but maybe I should have started with being spiritual first. But yes, and then I focused on being spiritual, and then came like my education, like what I want to be as like a doctor, thinking about it in the long run. And now for the moment I'm still focusing on finances, like managing budget and everything. I think my next one would probably be like relationships. As in finding a significant other. So yeah.
Yes, for the people.
So yeah, that's the classification level for now.
Thank you. Do you want to say something?
Yeah. It's, just to add to it, to those segments. Those segments, like she was saying, like spiritual is kind of the bedrock of everything, but then there still need to be intentional about growth in that area, so you can classify it as a growth area, right? And say spiritual from a professional perspective, from a financial perspective, from what else? Developing your mind as well, from an academic perspective. Those are different areas.
Like to read books.
Yes, exactly.
I'm actually looking at you.
That's true. Yeah, very true, because I don't like reading, so it's something I have to develop because it's a life skill, right? Things like that, things like also those are the important ones. Then there are some things that you don't count as important, but they're actually important as well. Things like hobbies, for example, you need to be intentional about building hobbies, probably learning an instrument, playing sports or something. That's not even an example.
I feel attacked.
For me, my whole like personal life, like I don't really have all these classifications. They're good, but I believe that you may not achieve anything if you pack all of them together at the same time. But maybe it's just about me. But for me, like I have this premonition of what aspect of my life like that I'm going into next, or like what I need to do with at the moment of my life. Like, and what I do is that my birthday is like new first day of the month, first day of the year. Like they are very significant days for me, because then it's like, okay, so like what's your life going to be like this month? What's your life going to be like this year? Like for your next birthday, where you're looking back, like what are you going to be? Then I see the picture of who I want to be, because it's possible that this year I might not really be focusing on finances or something. I might just be fine, but I'm focusing on something else of my life. But it's because I've seen a picture of who I want to be like by next year. So it really like helps to focus. For me, like there is a grace that comes along with that purpose, because if I'm like, oh, this time next year this is where I want to be, like career wise, like there is a grace that comes along for me that I'm able to do some things relating to my career and everything that maybe before I couldn't do. Like others say, because like goals and everything, they are nice, but sometimes like there are so many times we really want to do some things, we know we should do some things, but we just know we can't do them at that moment in time. And there are times that you're like, oh my god, I have all the strength in the world to do all these things. But I think that the thing there is that to have the hand, like to have a picture of the hand from the beginning, like I think like it helps us to know, because spiritual thing is a thing that is going to be ongoing forever. Like you're not going to like stop on it. You have to keep getting better and better at everything. Your finances, there is no limit to any of these. Like there is maybe academic, will be like, oh, maybe after I have my PhD I'm going to stop. And it's not everybody that wants to have a PhD, and it's okay. So I think when it comes to personal development, it's personal. So it depends on what you want to see yourself as in the next few days, few months, few years. It depends on you. So it's not compulsory. It has to be the same with like everybody or with the next person. That's the way I see it.
Makes sense, yeah. Because I like the idea of it like going in phases. The fact that you focus on one thing per time. What I try to do is like I have big pictures of many things, but then try to structure it into smaller time chunks, and then face one issue per time, and then so that you can focus on one, then go on to the next one.
I think maybe because I'm a multitasker, like I think focusing on one thing is good, like niching down and saying, okay, this one. But there's things that you can do simultaneously, so I think that option shouldn't also be completely off the table. I can consciously work on my spirituality and consciously work on my finances at the same time. The period that I would have wanted to maybe achieve a certain goal financially might not be the same with my spiritual goal, but I can still pursue them at the same time. And I can still pursue at the same time a better character. It just happens with it just has to do with how you apportion your time, how you divide it, and in your day you could just be like, when I wake up I want to consciously read the word, and then afterwards you're like, okay, I want to consciously study the Bible for this hour in the day, and then at the same time you're like, okay, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to make sure I put in all my hours so that I get this certain amount of money, and I'm going to put it in a fixed I'm just giving an example, so that I don't touch it and my savings amount to this particular thing. And then character wise you can be like, okay, I'm going to talk to myself, I won't use a swear word today, like I'm going to make sure I get through my day without saying any word that's that shouldn't be said, the words that shouldn't be said. So you could do some of these things. It's good to focus, but I also feel like it's not the only way to go.
I'm not asking you to focus on one thing. That is, if you remember, I said have a picture of who you want to be, like at the head of a picture, and who you want to be. Your person it's a whole lot of so many things that make up you yourself. So it's not a matter of, I want to, like, it's like for me, every year I have to be a better person, and I have a picture of who Olumide is going to be, like who Olumide should be next year, and it's encompassing of so many things. So within this period of 1 year, like I'm working on so many things to be that person. So the only stable thing, the only one thing is that person, but there are so many other things that will make up that I have to do to be that person that I dream to be.
Okay, so if I'm getting everybody right, it's like it's personal development. You have to kind of like schedule it or form such a way that it suits you as a person. Whether you're multitasking or you're facing one thing at a time, you have to be realistic and honest with yourself. You don't
stay within your control.
Exactly.
That you can actually work on.
Exactly. Stretch yourself, but don't push yourself to the limit. That kind of thing. So we're going to move on to the practical aspects. I'll start with Leah. How do you love you? How do you make it work? How do you work towards getting your goals?
It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. Like, how did you know? It's a struggle.
No, you're not alone.
No, but when I'm not a morning person. Number two, I'm trying to cut coffee.
What you just said now.
He's not shaking on tables actually.
No, maybe he feels it's personal, like I'm just relating to me. Exactly. And then sometimes somebody will annoy you, don't know when the words this type of things, and you're like, God, I did it again. But I'm learning, and the thing is, growing up, my dad really influenced me, really influenced me. And it's a good thing because he's an amazing person, oh my God. But the thing about my dad is he's an overachiever. You're always telling me I'm a perfectionist in the house, like, it should be a certain way. It's not like I go crazy, like OCD crazy, but I'm just constantly pushing myself to do better. That sometimes for me it's a problem, and that's why I say it's a struggle, because some days when you don't feel like doing all those things, when you don't feel like doing all those things, you don't feel like pushing yourself, or you just don't have it in you. There's something I call dolce, well, not I, but the Italians call dolce far niente, and it's called the art of the sweetness of doing nothing. And I'm a very good G. Like, and so that is one of the areas I'm actually going at, doing nothing and not beating myself up for it.
You should schedule it.
Yes, like I just do nothing. Like my window has like a very good view of the sky. Sometimes I just open my window and I lie back and I'm just like looking at the sky, and I'm consciously doing that because I beat myself up. That is where I want to grow at. I don't want to feel imposter syndrome and then push myself to overdo, because even in my classroom I always feel like when I want to say something, not because I know it's not smart, but I just feel like, oh, they're going to have a certain outlook at it because sometimes I'm the only black person in my class, and I feel like I have to put in extra work. And then coupled to the fact that I forget even being a minority here, like I personally am an overachiever, so I'm constantly pushing. I write an essay and I feel like it's not good enough. But then after, when I see the mark, I'm like, geez, you know, I'm like, man, you know. And then I kept saying the reason why I'm even doing my masters now is because I was telling somebody that if I stay, my brain will rot. Like, not literally, but I just feel like I won't be able to push myself again. So allowing myself breathe sometimes is my own growth. It's my own growth. Praying about it and not worrying. Oh my God, that is the sweetest thing. The fact that I have come to this place in my faith where when I pray and I put it into God's hands, I'm just so relaxed. Like sometimes it comes. I'm not saying that I don't feel worried, because it comes, trust me. But then I'm like, I remind myself and I start speaking the words. Worrying would not even add a nanosecond to my life. So why should I be taking away instead of adding to who I am? You know. So I just don't even care about the things that I can't fix. I just deal with the things that I can do. And then lately we went to the park yesterday and I wrote, and I was just writing because I'm trying to write. I am in this group where we're doing some work and then we're consciously having to write. But personally, I like to write here, and there's this story that has been building in my head. So going to the park, I didn't even know that it was something that helped give me kind of a release and put me in the right frame of mind to inspire me to write. In fact, I wasn't feeling inspired, but I just felt in the right frame of mind to write, and it was a success story for me. And I'm consciously working to write because I have a friend that writes as well, and she's always at it. Like she's not here, but Monique is somebody that really inspires me. She's so tiny. She's the greatest artist I know, the best writer I know. Like she's always working. This girl gets up at 6. Like clockwork, like it's annoying sometimes. And so surrounding myself with people that are like that are driven and actually pushing themselves to get their goals has really helped me. So sometimes when I see her write, I just pick up and I go and I'm like, Mo, I want to write with you. And then we start writing. We don't really talk. We're just working on our own things, and it's really been good. And then I also have friends that are so positive. When I write and I'm like, I fling the book, and then they come pick it up, and then they're like, oh my God, this is good. And I'm like, is it the same thing we read? You know, like I don't think it's the same thing. So that has really helped me. So to summarize, I push myself even when I don't feel like it. I don't beat myself up when I don't feel like it and I didn't put in any work. And then I surround myself with people that are like-minded, people that are goal-driven, and then people that are also encouraging. So while they are productive and they push me to do better, they also encourage my own little efforts, and it really helps me feel good about myself. And I consciously also, speak words of affirmation to myself. So it really helps.
That's wonderful. Anybody want to add something?
For me, how do I go about it? The first thing for me is this, like it depends, like I am an ideal person. Like ideas flash through my head. So one thing I do to achieve them is that I talk to people. Like as it comes, I flow it out. And it has really, really helped me. But before that, I wasn't like this till 2015. I've always been this kind of girl. I knew like there's so much more to me than, but I was like living in another world. I knew there was so much more to me till I changed my environment. So I think changing of environment also can change can do a lot, it can do wonders for you and everything. So when I changed my environment, like it was like, okay, nobody, like there's nobody that know that I'm existing, like everything, so this is me, I can really be myself. So that was a good ground for me to start. Then in 2015, I don't know what happened in 2015, but something happened to Olumide, and like she became like, she knew she's unstoppable. And like I did like I don't know what happened, but like that was when it really started for me, that I really became self-aware. I became self-aware really, and I started really doing so many things for myself. Then another thing like I do is like I don't stress myself out on things. Like if I'm not this kind of person, if I tell myself I'm going to do this in a day, and I ended up not doing it, I don't beat myself up for it. Like I'm not going to die because of it. Happens. It happens, it's gone. There's nothing you're going to do about it. Do something better. But it's also get to a point also that I feel like exhausted. Like I feel like I'm pushing, but I can't push anymore and everything. And that's why like I try to read self-help books. Those are like my best kind of books that I read, like on personal development, leadership. I read a lot on there. And the major thing is just like one thing is just like you just really have to get to know who you are yourself, and like really, really enjoy your person. And then flow into what your person is, and yes, have goals, and like focus on what your goal for now, and then like do things about it. So personally for me, for personal development, like I read books, I talk to people, and like if there are ideas, like God has surrounded me with so many people that they make me do things even when I'm pulling back, I don't want to do things, or I try to analyze, they push me, and like I get to do so many things. But the major thing for me also is that I know who I should be, and I know I'm not yet there. So it's like I already know what I'm to do to be that person, and every day I just take every day one at a time to build that. And if today I happen to be lazy, it's today, it's fine. Although it may prolong but if I spend time beating myself down, I'm going to be wasting more time on that. So today is gone, tomorrow I'm going to do something about it. And there are times I feel like I'm so exhausted, I pray to God really help me to do that. And I remember there was a time when I need to get a diary, I need to start writing stuff down. The truth was I did it just for one day. I got the diary, I got the color pens, I did it for one day, but it woke me up. It's changed everything. It changed the way I was the other day and the way I am now. So that's the way it is for me. So for me, I think that one of the important things is know what works for you. Know what gets you, that know your person. There are people that they just need push from other people to do things, and there are people that they just need to take a break, and there are people they cannot afford to take a break. If they take a break, they cannot pick it up back again and everything like that. So I think those are the things like I see all I do.
So know yourself basically. If you know that you can't drop it and pick it up, you should schedule in a way that you're not spent, but you're always achieving. And then something that you were saying that you try to tell people. For me, once I do that, that's the end. I don't know why. I feel like maybe I that's why I would suggest you know your type of person. Because if I have an idea, and when I have the idea, I'm like, this is I'm thinking of all the possibilities and the opportunities it could bring. So I'm like so excited. I'm telling this person, I'm telling that one, and then at the end of the day I do nothing. So I've realized the importance of making moves in silence for myself. My inner circle can know, my prayer partners can know, my mom always knows, my dad can know, because he will give me advice, especially from legal perspectives for like businesses and all those related things. So you can do your research, you can do all of that, but don't be well. For me, depending on the type of person, I'm not quick to tell people, yes, because then I feel like the telling gives some type of achievements to me that I don't actually push myself to accomplishing at the end. So when I tell, I feel achieved to some aspect, and then I don't put in at as much level.
So
for me, telling is challenging.
Yeah, so
my own is different.
Yeah, exactly. So when she strategizes, this is what I want to do, and she tells someone else, you might praise her, right? And then the joy of actually walking through and fulfilling that thing,
it's diminished. It's not the same.
It comes to you because I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then the hormones are like, you feel good.
Yes.
The happy hormones are already
it's so opposite for me. For
the
me,
happy
it's
hormones
like
are there, and then you don't actually now
follow through.
No.
That's why I made
because you've already achieved all that you wanted to.
Praise at the end.
For me, once I've said it, how like another person has had it, it's like now you say it.
have
That's
to
crazy.
do it. So it's like, oh, you're praising me and everything, and I'm like, wait, you know that your life is on the line now. Right? Like, what you say is on the line now. So if you don't do it, you just imagine how you're going to look to this person. Like that's the way I see. So I got to find out like some years back that works for me.
So just know yourself.
So I think 99% of ideas that have come to me, the ones I said out, like it's really like that. Those were the ones that came to that came to be or that came to stay. Like the ones I kept to myself, I analyzed it, just ended up going. And that's one of the things, because maybe God surrounded me with people that are pushy also. And even there are some ideas that I had, like maybe I gave up, and then you see a friend like, hey, what's up? Like why? Like you're not doing anything. Like I have a practical example. Sorry, I'm taking time, but this is an example. So I have a blog which I've not been writing on. Like this thing.
I didn't know that.
And this how the blog came up is I was just discussing with a friend. I was like, okay, this, and the person was like, you could just start up a blog and everything, and right there, that same, like I think as we're having a conversation, like I started the blog and I started writing for a while, and then I just I got tired, and then like friends were like, oh, what's up, you haven't written, what's wrong and everything, and then I wrote again. So I really so that's why I think it's really important for you to know your kind of person, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So you can either be real or you can either be gay, or you can be in between.
So then we are started already. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. We look forward to your comments, and please remember to click the subscribe button and
turn on post notifications.
Yes,
and share this video.
Yes.